slut, bitch, whore, floozy, loose woman. These were words that were a significant part of my life. I want you to know that you have to be very, very careful when sharing your history with a new partner. And I'll be honest with you, the words that were used against me were terms that flowed from my first husband. He didn't even know a majority of my past. But yet, the fraction he knew were words that he used to attempt to degrade and control me. So, long story short, in the military, I was with two men within a month, ended up being pregnant. These were both men I had relationships with. And I just knew I couldn't be with either. The one guy didn't want to be a dad. The second guy, he knew I still had a thing for the first guy, so we parted ways. I met someone else who signed the birth certificate, and the third guy I married. And shortly after I gave birth and we were hanging out, he would tell me nobody would ever want me because I didn't know who my first daughter's biological father was out of the two. And I believed him. It was terrible, but he insisted on knowing my history. And I believe anyone that insists on knowing your past is going to use it against you in their emotional and mental court of law to make sure that they can control you with an iron thumb. And so I stayed, and primarily because we were a military family and I didn't have a job, and then I became pregnant with our second daughter, and it got even worse. I have to tell you, you have to be very, very careful that you are not dealing with someone who wants to know a lot about your sexual history. I think it's imperative to share if you have a lifelong STD that can be transmitted to them, because everyone deserves the right to know so they can protect themselves. And so I got divorced, remarried, still was not in a good place, and eventually got divorced a second time and decided I had to be by myself for a while. And so it took a number of years, about 10 years. Went through therapy, started to heal, and then I met a guy, 2020, and we were hanging out and everything was kosher. And I said, "Do you want to know anything about my past regarding dating?" And he said, "No." He said, I want to know who you are today. And we were able to move forward with a clean slate. Now, granted, he knows the history regarding my daughters. He knows they have different biological fathers, but he didn't want the dirty details. To him, I was a clean slate, and I was worthy of a relationship. He sees me as someone who is amazing and kind and wonderful. In his eyes, I am not scathed. I am not trash, and I am not used up. So I am very fortunate to be with a man who is wonderful and kind and respects me and treasures me and is happy to be married to me. So you have to be really, really careful. You want to meet someone that doesn't ask those questions. Why? Because it does not matter. What matters is who you are with the person you are today. And that's all there is to it. So anyways, don't share your history with anyone. It doesn't matter. What you did the second before you met your new person, let it go. You don't have to discuss it. That's personal and private. That's all there is to it. So anyways, that's all I've got. And I will be back.